Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It has been a very tough week for parents. James and Jennifer Crumbley are now both convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The big problem in this case is that we do not, as a country, think that school shootings are a tragedy. So let's get started. After Jennifer Crumbley, as I predicted, Ethan's Crumbley Journal made another guest appearance in James Crumbley's trial. The problem I have with that is that Ethan's statements and testimony did not come into play because there was a lot of damning evidence. You know, my parents won't listen to me about my mental health. They won't let me go see a therapist. They they're ignoring all my needs. Now, how many parents out there, remember when you were a kid, when you may have felt like you had mental problems, wanted to see a therapist, but you kept it all bottled up inside? You would wrote down on your journal, wrote down in your diary, kept it private, and would kind of try and speak in nonverbal language. Because if there's one thing that this trial, I think, demonstrates, it's that we are great at, if a child comes to us, you know what, I need mental help. I need to go see a mental therapist. I feel like I'm going to go off the handle. I feel like I'm gonna sneak into your room and stuff, take a gun and go fire up my school. I am that bad compared to having a child that maybe feels like they're alone, like you're like the parents are working too much, that they're not getting paid attention to. So they just try to emotionally distance themselves from the parents, hoping and praying that the parents pick up on that. This country, this society sucks at reading the unspoken signs, the unspoken language. And I feel that this trial, both of these trials, were a failure of communication between Ethan and his parents. If they're going to bring Ethan's diary, and I said this in Jennifer Trembley's video, I will leave. I think I may have even in the prediction of James Crumbley. I'll leave those both video in tag up there, also in the description below. But Ethan Crumbley, the facts that one thing that was not presented to the jury, and they may have been aware, but they're told no research. But the thing is that Ethan Crumbley, number one, the prosecution never told the jury that there was no plea deal for Ethan. The jury was not told, and nothing came into evidence that Ethan took a plea deal on his own, which in my book would say that he actually was not convicted. He took accountability. And the third thing that Ethan said at his sentencing, that we are here for me. This had nothing to do with my parents. This is because of what I chose to do, and my decision had consequences, and I'm prepared to plead guilty and take whatever sentence you give me. Now, many people would suggest that, probably put in the comments, you can feel free to put in the comments whatever you want, but many people would probably put in the comments, oh, it's still the parents that are supposed to keep an eye on their child. It's the parents that's supposed to protect the child. It's the parents that's supposed to protect society. I think that this incident is entirely because of the school's negligence, not the parents. Because how many school shootings have there been since the 1970s? This is not a new thing. In fact, since 1993, I remember the Columbine, the Sandy Hook Elementary, all these school shootings, the Parkland shooting, and they were all devastating. But we're not learning our lesson here. The society needs to start noticing and listening to the signs that are not always spoken. Both testimonies says that, this is the first time we saw this journal, these pages, these entries. And two, how can we read our child's mind? And the answer, very simple, you can't. But you have to notice even the simple things that are happening. His friends moved away. He had great friendship with some, and then their father gets transferred, and it's always something downward spiral that just keeps on building up until that fateful moment, which is reason enough for me to believe that in this country and worldwide, we do not believe gun that school shootings, school massacres are tragic events. If you look at all the school shootings that happen, there's usually some parallels to it. Neglected parents, alcoholic parents, abuse, friends move away, depression, suicidal, a number of reasons why they think that they've got nothing left to live and that they're better served to spend the rest of their natural life in jail. People are still angry about the Parkland shooting because he was not given the death penalty because a jury voted 9-3. And in Florida at the time, you needed a unanimous jury to propose the death penalty. So the vote was 9-3. What was Florida's reaction to it? Let's change the rules so that all we need is an 8-4 majority. And I gotta tell you that if I would have been a juror in that case, I would have not voted for the death penalty. And it's not because I'm against the death penalty, which I am. I'm totally against the death penalty, but it's because of some of the social media that was played at Nicholas Cruz's trial. Some of that went, how does it go? He bragged that we're going to get wild on November 14th at Marjorie Stone Douglas High School. We're going to get wild. My goal is to shoot and kill 17 people or 20 people, and he did accomplish it. There was another video post that they brought into evidence that said, I'm tired of being stupid. I'm tired of being bullied. I'm just tired of it. I think Ethan Crumbley had a post of his gun like the day before. Signs. We're not seeing the signs. The parents are called into a meeting because of a drawing that their son drew. Very disturbing drawing. Let's keep him at school because he's safer there. Why did they say that? Well, it's very hard to say, but I think I know why they chose to keep Ethan at the school. One, the parents both had to work. Two, they didn't want him home alone. Why didn't they want him home alone? Because they had a gun in their room and they didn't want Ethan to try and find it. No, you're not going to convince me of that because the gun was already at the school. So they should have known he had the gun at school. exactly. He had the gun at school already. And even Jennifer Crumbley testified that when they heard about the shooting at Oxford High School, the James called his wife, said that, oh my gosh, the gun is gone. And now they were aware that Ethan had the gun, he had the bullets, and the mother was desperately trying to text Ethan before the shooting happened to don't do it, but it was too late. Now, to illustrate my next point, let me paint a picture. If I go into junior high, seventh grade, and I take my fist and I just slap him right across that. His teacher comes out, 6 feet tall, 240 pounds. You know what? I'll let it slide. You really should not do that though. Like, all right. I look up to the teacher and I do the same thing, no more harder than I did with the child. And because he's an adult and he had to see even more dignity, he probably will get sued for that. Or at worst, he'll probably knock me out as self defense. Now I go to my local township police department and I go up to the sheriff in charge of the township and I do no more physical than what I did with seventh grader. As a cop, he has even more dignity, not because of his person, but because of his position. I mean, most cops, some cops, you give them a badge, you give them a gun and taser, and they think they're God. They think they can do whatever the heck they want. But because I have just struck my local police chief, I have literally struck every single person that is in that township. Now they put me in jail for a day, 24 hours to get my mind straight. I get out of jail, go to the next step up, and I don't care if it's my district or county judge, county police officer or something, but I go up just same thing as a 7-year-old. Now, the judge or the police or whatever county position that I have struck, I have literally struck every single person in that county. So let's go up to the state, Supreme Court or Supreme Justices, state justices, state police chief. And I do the very same thing to the police chief of the state or the state representatives or whatever. I have literally struck not that person, but the office and the position that they hold. Because right now we are a democracy. Hopefully, come this November, it stays that way. But I have struck literally every single person in the county or district or whatever precinct they are in. If I go up to the governor and do this to the governor, what have I done? I have literally struck every single person of the state of Michigan because of the dignity of what his office entails. He was elected by the people and he holds the office and voice of the people. I end up getting sentenced to a month, 30 days in the state jail. I get out, I'm not done yet. I decide that I want to take a step further. I want to go to Washington. I go into the White House and I meet the President of the United States. And I do no further damage than what was done with the seventh grader. Because now I have struck the President of the United States, I can literally risk being shot right on the spot, or spending the rest of my days in the um, federal penitentiary. And yet, what I have done is the very same thing. Now let's raise the stakes a little bit from like a slap, but let's say I threaten a child, or I threaten an adult, or I threaten the governor, or I threaten the president of the United States. I have not just threatened, I have threatened his office, who he represents. I have threatened every single person in the United States of America. And if I would do that, you can't tell me that tomorrow I would have the Secret Service right at my door. But those are just positions. What about people? So I ask the question again. Why do we not treat everything as serious as a threat of a school shooting, or a potential threat of a school shooting? If Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, said, I want to shoot multiple people at my old high school. Who does the teacher represent? Nothing. He just has a simple job. Who does the children represent? Nothing. They're just students. They're just there to learn. Now, what if Nicholas Cruz would have came on and threatened that tomorrow I'm going to go to Washington and kill our state senator or kill the president of the United States? You don't think that that's going to get equal word right to the Secret Service, and they're going to go down, storm where Nicholas Cruz is, and place him under arrest right then and there for even a threat? And the big reason why I would not have condemned Nicholas Cruz and agreed with the death penalty, out of all Parkland, Florida, put this on social media, out of all Parkland, Florida, no one, not even one adult, seen that video? And if they did, are you not going to tell me and stuff well, he's just he's just trying to gain attention? What if a policeman would do that? They go into a dangerous thing. I was watching a video with Bruce Rivers. I love his channel. So Bruce, shout out if you come across this video. But with someone that ran through a barricade, went on a plane, and threatened that he had C4 and he was going to blow up the plane. Now, could the police have assumed that, oh, he's just talking, he's not? No, they're not going to assume that. So why, when we see these devastating social media posts, or Greg, they're going to be the next shooter or school shooter, or why do we just think that, oh boy, they're just seeking attention? Why do we not take it more seriously? And the answer, you want to know the answer? I gave it to you earlier. We are a society of reaction, not prevention. And that is not BS. Make sure you subscribe, like, and click that bell notification. I hope this video has been enlightening. I believe that James and Jennifer Crumbley should not have been convicted.
don't you worry, hey, don't you worry.